All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Welcome back to another episode of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, E.L. Discipline. Alongside me is Sujey Sotomayor. We have a special in-studio guest, but we'll get to him in a minute. We know y'all are fiends, and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy, where not everything is completely free, as we are on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see. But what is free is judgment-free, sucker-free, censor-free, sensitive-free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or my favorite roll of blunt, but make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversation prepare your mind to be fed like one up, inhale life and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're here.
Yo, he's good. See, you watching the shows. All right, so Sue's gonna do her thing, and then we're gonna mention the guest.
Oh, we have the links are in the description. How to become part of our Patreon family and subscribe for exclusive content, bloopers, behind the scenes, and Mr. E.L. Discipline's solo lectures of Discipline Therapy Talk, where he has his BDSM content, erotica posts, and writings by Mr. E.L. Discipline. His masterclass and workshops, full videos are on there. Also, we have some collaboration shows pertaining to sensitive topics such as sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence, transgender, child abduction, conspiracy theories, government conspiracy theories, and more with myself and Mr. E.L. Discipline. Once again, our Patreon is patreon.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We also have 7 of Mr. E.L. Discipline's public books on sale. They're available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, Kindle. We have for electronic version as well. Once again, all the links are in the description of the video below. We also have our online store for merch, which is disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. That's a mouthful to say. We have new gears there that hit every month. We have the so many different categories: men, women, children, household items, accessories, you name it. Go there and check it out. We're also on major listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, iHeartRadio. I always say I can't remember.
Deezer.
Which one?
Deezer.
Deezer. I said Deezer. What's the other one that you said?
Amazon Music.
Amazon Music. Why do I always mess that one up? Yep, and that's it.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
All over the place. Who's this talking right now? Oh,
wait,
man.
also on YouTube, obviously, youtube.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast, where you're going to get your audio and your video. Ladies and gentlemen, there's only one more episode left. So if you haven't been put on to season 15, start from the beginning and double back. Watch 2 shows a day on your break.
Yeah,
Put
come
your
on.
earbuds on because we might be vulgar. You don't want your colleagues to be hearing stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, it's adult conversations, like I said in the intro, kids to bed. Now, let's get into the special in-studio guest.
One thing, I'm sorry. You know how we do. We have to clear the energy. This is what we do. It's not clearing that energy over there. All right. Special guest.
I like that.
Who are you?
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Kevin Nilo. I'm 29 years old. I'm currently a registered nurse here on Long Island. My background, I am from Chile. My family's from Chile. We hold a lot of traditional values. And once I heard from Sue, about the podcast and everything, I thought that we kind of resonated together in terms of like certain views that we had together. And so I'm excited here to share my perspective on certain things, whether it be relationships, discipline in and of itself, and just what it means to be a man nowadays. And I think it's very important to have these type of conversations. So I'm excited to be here today.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
I like
That's
him
awesome.
already.
Why? Because he's Chilean and he comes from traditional background?
I didn't say that.
I said it, no way.
His energy.
Yeah.
I like him already. All right. So what's the topic for tonight?
The topic is we have
163.
163. Why are looks more important to men in the opposite sex? What happened just now? My God. Why are looks more important to men in the opposite sex than it is for women?
You know what it is? Like when feminine women get around
Oh.
masculine energy, they get a little,
A
nervous.
little shaky.
Yeah. That's what it is.
All right.
right.
You know what? I'm gonna let it go with that one.
All right. So, well, okay. So this is how we do this, right? Guests always go first, whether they're a girl, woman, or man. We don't do debates on here. We do healthy conversations, a panel discussion.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to debate about like masculine and feminine energy, we can. Or I could educate you, But other than that, when we look at life, relationships, relationship dynamics, family structure, gender roles, we get perspective. So you're always going to go first.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. So
So hold on. How we gonna?
All right. So what is it?
Oh, because I haven't.
Yeah. So why are looks? First of all, we'll answer that. Then we'll go through the bullets.
All right.
So what is it? Why
are looks more important to men in the opposite sex than it is for women? Well, why do you think?
what do I think?
Yeah. What's your opinion on it?
I think my perspective on this is that it kind of stems all the way back. It's almost like kind of something from our ancestors, whether it be from like 10,000 BC, Stonehenge, way back when men were out there kind of fending, providing, protecting. What were the women doing? For the most part, they were nurturing, they were taking care of the children at home. And in terms of educating children, they were at home as well. And in that sense. But what was like the man's sole perspective on that? I feel like their perspective and their goal in those time periods was to pass their seed. And so, in order to pass their seed, they would predominantly have multiple wives, whether it be on their type of status in society, especially if they had some type of higher status, they would have access to multiple women. But at the same time, their perspective was always like the plan and their life goal was to pass on their seed in order to have more sons and to keep that last name alive, right? So the women's perspective was, in my opinion, this is all solely my opinion, but the women's perspective was to find a man that can provide, that can protect them, that can lead them, and that they can kind of like find the resources for them to work together and either have that team. But for the most part, in those communities and in those times, it was more or less different roles that were being placed. So that was, in a sense, like way back when. But in modern society, I feel like a lot of those roles and a lot of like that type of perspective has been watered down, but it is in a way still predominant. For the most part, there's a reason as to why women wear makeup and as to why men try to provide and protect and be a man's man in that sense,
Okay.
Okay.
So wait, why are looks more important to men? So this question is, why do they want to go with a prettier girl?
Yeah, so it's more so men and women, right? Why are looks more
Important for men?
than it is for women?
Why are looks more important for men than it is for women? Maybe if she's better looking, he'll want to protect her more. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
Because he wants to procreate better.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm asking you guys like they know the answer. También. I don't know.
This is your perspective.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Why?
I kind of like that answer. I'm gonna expound on it. But go ahead.
Good, because I don't know what part of the answer you like.
You said maybe they want to protect them better. The better they look.
That's
Not
the only thing
verbatim, but-
right. Yes, that's the only thing I can come up with.
Okay. So I'm gonna expound. Most men. Okay, so men in general are more visual creatures than women, right? They always say, like, even science has done history on this. Men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with what they hear. This goes back to what Kevin was saying, ancestry. So most of the time men are looking for a trophy wife. Part of a woman's value is her beauty. So when a man sees that a woman is beautiful, he's attracted to her, he's looking in all aspects of what he can do to make sure that woman has a safe space and procreate with her. So we've had this episode, it was like episode 60, and we talked about how pretty privilege, most pretty people are just believed, they're trusted. Oh, this guy meets a beautiful woman. Oh, I could introduce her to my mom. Like, bro, you met her today. You don't know anything about her. So you just automatically think because she's beautiful, she's also coming with a good personality. She's also beautiful internally. So men are just visual creatures by nature. And we will say, like, are hornier than women in that regard, where that is like what drives us to want to do everything for that woman. You know what I'm saying? Build and all of those aspects as well. So I think that that's why, it's more important for men than women. Most women, right, don't look at men the first thing to look at physical attributes. Like Kevin was saying, provider and protection. That's what most women, even back in the days, were looking at men for. That's why you might even see it nowadays where Biggie talked about this in One Chance. Fat and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks. Rings and watch. Filled with rocks. Right? So he is saying, to convey those lyrics, right, in layman's terms, I'm fat, I'm ugly, but I still get women. Right, because this is not like a phenomenon. This is just basic math. 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's ancestry. So the woman gets back into her nature of wanting the provider. That's why it's not common for women to just go out there and be like, oh, I'm going to get the best looking man. Because she's thinking about her security. She's thinking about her future. So the man wants to get the best thing in life. When you talk about the multiple wives thing, that's a man that has status, that can maintain that, and he wants the best things in life. Probably got cars too. Probably got, best clothes, best haircuts, whatever. He wants to get the best things in life. So he's looking at the best women too. You know what I'm saying? To be able to be the prerequisite to me giving her everything and me putting my all in that dynamic.
All right.
Yeah, so, but most men, right? Let's say you and I are boys, Kevin, and you meet a woman for the first time. Discipline. I met this girl yesterday. What do you think the first thing I'm gonna ask you?
Is she pretty?
Is she pretty?
Damn, why you answer for him?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first.
What does she look like?
Yeah, that's the first thing a man by nature, like that is what I would ask.
Yeah.
Yo, what she look like? She pretty? You attracted to her? The woman, when she says to her friend, hey, I met this guy yesterday. You know that the first thing she's gonna ask is not what does he look like? It's gonna be what does he do? Who is he?
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So this goes back to just gender roles. It goes back to just men and women and how intricate it is. But when you can understand men and women nature, this is why it plays a factor of men care more about looks than women do.
No. All right. The first bullet says hypergamy. I'm going to give you the computer. Because
Me?
I know you, because you wrote it with
okay.
with the, there's a system there. Because I'm like, I don't know what this means.
Okay, so hypergamy, do you agree with the topic statement? First of all, we all three do, right? So hypergamy, are you familiar with what hypergamy is?
In terms of a woman's perspective of trying to attain the highest
Yeah, so
level.
just in general, women practice hypergamy more than men, but just the term in general.
Yeah.
Okay, you Sue?
Yeah, now I do.
Okay,
Because I didn't before.
yeah. So when you look at this, right, of the men wanting more men value more looks than women, it comes down to hypergamy. When we look at hypergamy, just to break it down in layman's term, it means that you are attracted to superior than yourself. It is pretty much like, you're getting with someone who is higher in economic status, financial status, perhaps physical attributes. And most women look for more of the superiority aspects or attributes in men than themselves. Right or wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah. So women practice hypergamy more, and I believe this is why. So I'm gonna ask you, Kevin. I'm glad we got a man. Yes. I'm gonna ask you something, and we've had a conversation off camera. You seem pretty honest, so I don't have to tell you to be honest. What is gonna attract you more if you meet a woman who is whatever your definition of hot is, but she has little or none? Maybe she's a cashier at Starbucks, living at home with parents. She's hot though. She's your type. Versus the woman who might be overweight, not as attractive. Maybe you think she's ugly. And it might be harsh to say, but maybe you think she's ugly. She has a lot of money though. She's rich. Which one is more attractive to you? Like attractive for you?
Well, to me, it's going to be the girl from Starbucks.
Why?
Because I don't care about what they're doing.
You see?
Wait, can I ask a question though?
Mm-hmm.
What if they're equally pretty? Like they're both your type, except one got money and one works in Starbucks. Now who you gonna get?
Well, then you don't value money. I wouldn't value the money aspect. I'd value what else can she provide, in terms of like value to my life.
Nice.
Right?
You see?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see
No,
that?
no, no. But I was trying to trip him up.
Mhm.
You're good.
Yeah. So most men think like Kevin and myself and want that. Like, listen, there could be a lawyer who has her own place, could be in her 40s, no children, feminist, high masculine energy, versus the woman who works at Starbucks, lives at home, more cooperative, more feminine, gonna bring peace, be more agreeable, and more likely to follow my program. That's easy. Even if I didn't have much. You know what I'm saying? I make a lot of money, but even if I didn't have much, I still wouldn't go to the lawyer. Because I'm thinking, well, I'm a provider. I could support her. Like, why do I need to build? I could be the dominant there. That woman might be a struggle. I'm not saying it's 100% going to be. You might get like 1 out of 10, but it might be a struggle because she's already built a lifestyle prior to me. You see what I'm saying? So women advertise and men approach or hunt. Advertisers are looking for buyers or sponsors. This is what I believe. And this is because the feminine is designed to attract. It is imperative that she is strategic on how she is viewed, places she goes, people she's around, activities she engages in, how she dresses. Do you believe most women today, until modern, think like this?
I believe that most women don't really consider it, but there is a level of which they still kind of have to put in that effort, especially if they're single, especially if they're looking for a partner. They have to be able to, if you're, I think it determines on whether or not the woman is single or what type of where is she in terms of her relationship status, right?
Mhm.
Because even if a woman's with someone and a better option may come around, there's still women out there that move like that. They're still looking for something better, even though they might be with a man. So,
Hypergamy.
right. So I think that it's important for women, depends on the women, but I think it's also a vetting process for a man and to find that right woman. But yeah, I do think that to a certain extent, they do care about, where they are, what group of people that they're at. I think that women, for the most part, they cherish what the experiences a man can bring into their lives. That's why I think as a man, it's important in terms of when you're looking at women, and they have this type of, let's say, for example, body count, right?
Mhm.
If you're valuing women just based off of their body count, I think that it's important for you to understand that women with lower body counts, tend to have a better relationship with men on the long term versus women that have higher body counts. And the reason for that is because, like, if as a man, you're also looking for hypergamy in terms of like a woman, but let's say that body count might also kind of water that down. And depending on where they're at and where they're seen, there's a double-edged sword because a man can look at, oh, has she been to Dubai? Right?
Is
Yeah.
that
How'd you
bad?
get to Dubai?
Yeah.
Who's paying for that?
Yeah.
Right? Have you been to all these multiple
Mm.
trips? Right?
Mm.
Who's paying for all those things? Right? So as much as like they might be in the scenery of like um high like kind of like a high expenditure, travels and all that stuff. Like a man, I feel like values more or less what experiences. I feel like it's more thrilling. Like if you haven't been to a place, that's awesome because I can lead you there. I can show you there. I've been there 5 times. I can take you through that experience, and I can kind of like
Guide you, kind of.
guide you. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and your ideologies are based off your ethnicity, your family, how you grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm happy that you brought that up because in my notes that I left at home, I wanted to ask you, with your background, what kind of women were you growing up with? Like your family members, your mom, and all that. Were they traditional? Are they still like your female, let's say cousins or family members? Are they traditional also?
Yeah. Well, in the sense, my just to give you an example, my mother married my father when they were, teenagers, like
Mm.
late teenage, and for the most part, they've been together their whole lives.
Mm.
And so when I see these things where it's like back in those times, there was no social media.
Mhm.
When I asked my grandfather if, I probably have a couple of cousins that I don't know about, but my grandfather didn't have to deal with all the baggage and all that kind of stuff that most men do nowadays.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like the women that were brought into my life were like my aunt, my mother, my cousins, and they're all nurturing. They all kind of follow this kind of like homebody feel where it's like, it's a team effort, right?
Your girl cousins too?
Yeah, they're like if they're very nurturing in the sense where it's like they're willing to cook, clean, and take care of all of the things that have to be taken care of at home, but they're with men that clean the gutters, they mow the lawn, they provide, they paint when they're checking their oil to make sure that the oil's not low. When things like that happen, that's where the men steps in. You know what I'm saying? And it's a team effort, and I've never seen it falter between my parents, and I've never seen like where my mom's like complaining about something that my dad is doing because my dad is still providing, and then I've never seen it where you know my dad has to be complaining to my mom about a meal because it's always
Right,
there.
it's always there.
It's almost like an unspoken thing.
Mm.
Yeah, we had a show prior. Oh man, I said exactly
Exactly
what
what you said about the gutters.
Yeah,
And that's why I pointed at him. I was like, what?
So what do you think?
What was the question?
Well, first I want to challenge you, Kevin. You said somewhat men are looking for hypergamy too.
What do you mean?
In women. Like what do you mean? Can you expound?
Well, I would say like the hypergamy in the sense that you're looking for a woman, a woman's value, not necessarily always just like once the looks perspective gets kind of like, okay, you like the girl,
Mm.
there's still value that you have to kind of like vet out,
Okay.
right? In that sense, I'm talking about
Okay.
hypergamy because looks for the most part is so saturated nowadays that it's like, how do we find women that are actually loyal?
Mm-hmm.
And also that, you know, they do have kind of those traditional values and they're okay with allowing a man to lead,
Mm-hmm.
in that sense of hypergamy is what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Great.
I feel like I'm going to get kicked off this show soon.
What?
I feel like it's going to just be you guys talking because he's like, who cares about you, Sue? Anyway, Kevin, let me get back to you.
Sue, what do you think?
I don't know. What was the question?
Women advertise and men approach or hunt. Advertisers are looking for buyers or sponsors. This is like a metaphor, right? It's because the feminine is built to attract. It's imperative that she's strategic on how she's viewed, where she goes, who she's around, activities, how she dresses. Do you believe most women think like this?
I think most modern women think like this.
Okay.
Yes, and I think they think like that because it's they're trying to, get their man. They're trying to secure. They're trying to, do the hypergamy thing. They're trying to get their secureness. Is that a word? I just made it up. There you go. It's a word now.
There's security. There's security. Okay. So I agree with you. I think the modern women, the traditional women are not really gonna advertise.
No.
Because I'm gonna break something down for y'all. Right? This is what I do. My way of teaching Kevin is giving analogies and expounding to the highest level.
I love the analogies because it helps me understand. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he hits you with one.
So, Kevin, I'm gonna ask you a question so you can answer it for me. Have you ever seen a commercial for a Lamborghini?
No.
You know why?
Because the value.
Exactly. See, that's what I wanted him to answer.
I'd be like, I don't know.
He quick with it too. So the thing is, the traditional women were like the Lamborghini. They knew their value. They knew what they were gonna bring a man, right? An advertiser is like not sure. Ferraris and Lamborghinis don't have commercials because they're not begging people to buy them. They know that they have value. They know that they're fully loaded. Honda needs commercials. Toyotas need commercials. You know what I'm saying? They need to advertise. You know what I'm saying? We know that if we get a big spender that comes in to buy a Ferrari, they're dropping 300,000 and we got to count that shit and make sure all the bills are legit. They're writing that check. We checking on that check right now to make sure that shit not going to bounce. Like we know that already. They're going to make a whole 3 weeks goal. You know what I'm saying? Like they know that. They know that they have certain endorsements where they don't even need that. You know, so the modern women are like the Hondas. They're like the Toyotas. They're advertising. They're desperate. You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't know themselves. They don't know their value. They don't know what they're going to bring. They don't know how to keep a man, how to attract a good man. You know, the traditional women do because they have training. You heard what Kevin said?
Yeah.
This is generational, right? So these women did just come out the womb doing that. Obviously, they had training, their grandparents, and so on, right? So these women already build some level of confidence themselves. They don't build their confidence on showing my booty online. I'm the best cook, and I take pleasure in serving a whole family, not a corporation. That's where I'm the happiest. You see what I'm saying? So the traditional woman has she's like a sniper. She's real gangster moving silence type. She's like so high value, but she's like stealth mode. You know what I'm saying? Like she's flying under the radar. The modern chicks are so loud, they're out there. And then when you realize that the grass is not greener on the other side, you're like, damn, false advertisement. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I believe that, breaking it down on the traditional women and the modern women don't think like this. So they're looking at it like they're looking at it as the worst way to attract a man. They're actually like they don't respect men, to be honest, because the way they're trying to attract them. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you're a lady and you want a gentleman, you know that you're not going to dress provocatively to tempt them. That's respect. The woman who don't respect the man is gaslighting, right? She's manipulating. She posts a thirst trap and then she's complaining on the next post, why are these guys thirsty? You see what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so most men fall in love with their eyes, women with their ears. I said this earlier. What attracts you to a woman? Have you and then I'll get into the other ones. So what attracts you to a woman?
What attracts me to a woman, first off, is their appearance, right? But I think that deeper than that, on a deeper level, the next thing that I always like to ask is, first off, what's their relationship with their father? And what's their relationship with their family? are they present with their family? Like, are they, um, are they at home cooking with mom? Are they helping grandma go to doctor's appointments? Are they very present within their nuclear family? And whether or not there is some type of separation, or if there's anything, I always like to know, like, what's the family dynamics? Because you could really pull a lot about a woman's, whether it be insecurities, her values, and how she sees the world, just based off of like how they were brought up, and
Mhm.
if any father figures are missing, or there's a divorce or anything like that. That's one of the things so that's one of the things that I look for. I look for a woman that is very kind of like, very invested within her own family,
Mm.
first and foremost. Um, Obviously appearance, but then the next thing is also things like, if I'm attracted to a woman, I'm attracted to a woman that allows me to lead.
Okay.
So then it comes into things where it's like, she's okay with me taking the reins, whether it be new experiences, traveling to new places, and there's no pushback. There's none of that. It's just kind of like, you're coming here for the ride,
Mhm.
and she's okay with it. And then trust kind of builds with that with time. But for the most part, I think that's foundational for me.
Mhm.
I like Spanish women.
Mhm.
That's like something that I've noticed. Like, in terms of like taking women serious, I feel like Spanish women, for me, it's just been a lot easier.
Mhm.
Um, Dating here in the States has been a little tough in terms
Mhm.
of like finding and vetting.
Yeah.
There's another layer of
I have questions
of
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you mean dating here in the States? You date out of the States?
Well, I have dated out of the States in the past, but then my partner did move back to my partner moved into New York. She was from Chile.
Mm.
My partner moved into New York for a bit, and we were working on creating a life together.
What
Mm.
happened?
Well, it didn't work out. Things
Beetle.
didn't, doesn't work for everyone. But for the most part, I think that you know, um, when relationships are like that, where it's like they're from the same culture, for example, like I feel like it's a lot easier
Definitely.
for the man to take control and leadership of the relationship.
Mhm.
But I'm curious to see your perspective too, because in 2024, it's you got to move a certain way as a
Yeah.
man,
Mhm.
especially to deal with all of this, you know,
You're right.
Craziness
craziness, social media, all this stuff.
You're right. So I want to get what attracts you to a woman, man,
to a woman.
man,
Well,
man.
she has to have long hair, long legs.
Sorry.
You like my voice? I dropped that. You saw that? What attracts me to a man? Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I am a visual person also. So if I'm gonna be attracted to somebody, something with the looks has to be there. I'm sorry. That may sound shallow, but that's for me. That's how it is.
It's okay.
And aside from that, how he treats other people. Like if he's a dick to the waiter, that's a red flag. I don't need somebody who treats people
Okay.
below him,
Okay.
like they're below him.
So looks, character.
Looks, character, how much money he has. No, I'm just kidding.
Straight
I
to
mean,
the-
hey,
That
I
is
ain't shaming.
definitely not true.
I'm not shaming money.
That is not. That is
Oh,
not
okay.
it.
Okay.
Looks, character, if he is trustworthy, like if his word, the saying word is my bond, if that is true, if this man is true to his word 100%, that's attractive. And I guess how he carries himself in general.
All right. So what attracts me to a woman is first visually. Like subjectively, I have to find that she's beautiful. She doesn't have to be a 12. 1 out of 10, she's a 12. She doesn't have to hit the past the scale. She could be a 8. But because I'm a conscious man and I know myself, the looks, even if she was a 12, I'm seeking more because that's not enough. That is not enough. I know that most men just looks are a means to an end, right? Especially if she got a nice body and whatnot. Pause, no homo, but he's just looking for a nut. After that nut, he's disgusted with her. He thinks she's ugly. So me, I know myself. I have serious relationships. I don't play around and stuff of that nature because I'm territorial and possessive. I can't just be banging a girl and then it's gonna bother me. Damn, I haven't heard from her all day. Or she's posting like this online for other men to see. It's just like I could lie and say, oh yeah, let's be friends with benefits, and I don't put these emotions, and then I do. It's bothering me. So I know myself. I know that I always want serious relationships. So because I want serious relationships, the look is gonna get me. I'm approaching her. Now it's the conversation that's paramount. So I do what you do, Kevin. I find out, was your father in your life? How's that relationship? If she grew up without her father, I get a time frame. So he was with you from when you were born till you were 15 or 16 or 20. Then after that, even though your parents are not together, do you still have a relationship with them? That's what I get down to. Because yeah, it doesn't always work out, right? It's important if she has a relationship with her dad. So I find out that. Then I ask them life coaching questions, right? Do you forgive your dad for leaving your mom? Because maybe you live with your mom and you're just hearing one side. You didn't really get his side. Because most men won't talk about their struggles. They just keep going, stoic. Right? So did you hear both sides of the story? And if you did, do you forgive your dad for leaving? Because maybe you didn't just think he left your mom, you think he left you.
Mm.
So do you forgive your dad? Do you forgive yourself? I get deep. Real deep. So now, if everything is good in that aspect, now I find out about her personality, her character. You know, I talk about traditional and modern. I talk about, where do you see the family structure? Do you want to have kids? If she has kids, I don't really like to date women with kids. Like I said, I might do one.
You neither?
No.
I might do one, but she gotta be very, very special for me to do one. And I gotta have multiple with her. That way I could accept that. But I don't look for them. You know, but most of the time you're gonna find a woman out here with at least one or something, especially in America. So maybe I'm connecting with her. The kid situation doesn't come about in the beginning, but I get there. So now I don't waste my time. That first day that I meet her, I get everything. I get everything. The moment she tells me she has a child, oh, it was nice to meet you. Good luck with your future endeavors.
Stay
You know what I'm saying?
blessed.
I don't waste it. I don't let's say, well, let me get to the third date and then find out these situations. Is she fucking with a baby daddy still? I don't waste time. So I get really more into her character. I see how she's going to be when cameras are not around. Because nowadays everybody has social media. So I get really in depth. I get into the family. I get into how she views the world. How do you view polygamy? Are you into that? Would you mind me having you and another woman as wives? You know, you can stay home. I'll take care of both of you. How do you feel about that? So now I start talking about I start having tough conversations with them too. Because I learned that, you know, you don't want to get with somebody and then now down the line, you're talking about this or moving sneaky or whatnot. You know, so I get into all of that in the beginning. Like I start, like the conversations that we have on the podcast, I'll talk to women about that I'm dating. You know,
That's
so
good.
the woman's mind is attractive to me because she could be a 12 and her mind is a 1. Dumb as a bucket of rocks. That shit don't make sense. Why are you putting rocks in a bucket?
Ay, Dios.
That shit don't make sense. Dumb as a bucket of rocks. Can't do it. Or you have a trash personality. You don't respect the waiter. We walked out to like Times Square, and you see someone who's not as fortunate, a homeless man or woman, and you're down talking them. You're condescending them. That's not gonna sit well with me. And now I know that's your character, that's your personality. You know, so she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's loyal. She's family oriented. Her mindset. She doesn't have to be a Harvard grad. You know what I'm saying? Because education does not correlate with intelligence. She has common sense. I like that. Common sense. She's not into feminism. She's anti-feminist. All of these things play a factor because my mind needs to be stroked as well. She can't just pause, get my loins aroused. She has to stroke my mind. My mind has to be horny. My emotions have to be horny because I'm looking to give her my heart. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not my mind. Shit, I'm thinking about money a lot, baby.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I can't think about you all day. I gotta be a provider. But she gonna get my heart. So I'm gonna be investing. I'm gonna be giving my all. So just like a CEO who's looking for his candidates, he's asking, well, this is what this company entails. What are you bringing to the table or my table? You're just telling me you're the table? That doesn't make sense. The table's just an object. It's not valuable until you put things on it. So what you trying to put stuff on here? Headache, toxicity and stuff?
Right.
Or you trying to offer peace on the table? You're offering optimism on the table. You're offering feminism. Sometimes I might not always be up on my game. Can you inspire me to want to be better and do better? Can you motivate, you know what I'm saying, in a feminine way? Could you have maternal instincts? If I have a child with you, can you offer that? Or you just a workaholic and you just gonna leave me with the kids? Damn, baby, you ain't spend no time with the baby like all week. Nah, I gotta work. All of this stuff is paramount for me. And what I do is I retain information. And that's how I dictate, okay, she's not for me. This is where I'm keeping her. She's just gonna be an acquaintance, which is like an Instagram follower. I ain't never gonna meet. You know what I'm saying? That's how I categorize women. You know what I'm saying? That I'm navigating through the dating market today in 2024. You gotta ask these questions because it's hard, right? So a lot of women wearing a mask, they could say they're traditional, but they do modern things. Nah, man, I don't believe you. Maybe you could be telling the truth, but you're like, listen, I could tell you all day that I'm like a good man. But I scam people. I scam dudes. I traffic shit. I don't have morals. I actually took this girl's phone and I was scamming these dudes out of their funds for years. But I'm high value. No, that's
Character.
weird. It's character. You see what I'm saying? So me, I'm studying all that. So her mind, her spirit, her emotions. Does she have great emotional regulation skills? Because we're gonna have tough conversations. Sometimes I might piss her off. I'm studying all that. I'm asking her questions that's difficult. What do you feel you did wrong in your last relationship? Because most people ask, how did the relationship end? Well, women are going to say, well, he cheated. That's it? That's where it ends? Okay, I want to know what you did. What were your flaws? When you hit him with that, you put him in a hole now.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Big
So
red
now,
flag.
if I see that she's cooperative, if I see that she's taking accountability, if I see her mindset, her spirit, wow, I'm already physically attracted to her. Now I'm going to go on more dates. You see?
Can I ask you guys a question? Because you both did the whole when you said, and for all the ladies want to know this. Why is it when you said after you're horny and all that stuff, and then you have sex with her, and then once you have sex, you're like, she's disgusting. Why?
Well,
why do you guys?
okay,
Because he went like this.
Let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it is, and then he could speak on what he thinks it is or believes. Subjective. For me, I'm conscious, so I know that, and I said this at the first masterclass, September 24, 2022. I said that I need to build something with you so the sex could mean something. Okay. If not, I become the regular male, not a king and a god like I am now. Because I still have male nature in me. To go back to that, there's proclivities that the man has. Okay. So as a man, naturally, when you nut, you done. But if you built something with her, you like her, you're sticking around. Because she's bringing certain values that's going to keep you coming there. No, not coming there, but...
Pause.
You'll be back. You'll want to pursue. You want to pursue more. It's not just gonna be like a hit and quit. It's not because you're seeing more. So now the sex means a lot now.
Wow, the girls have it all backwards. I think the girls think, all right, I'll have sex with him, and then because they're thinking the sex is gonna be so good that they're gonna want to get to know me now.
Yeah, because of like
that is backwards.
Because
ladies.
of like gender roles, right? Nature of men and male and female. No god, king, divine, goddess. Just male and female. Basic. Women, no. Females use sex to get love. Men use love to get sex. This is the basic male and basic female.
Archetype.
Not they elevated and are
Just
conscious.
regular.
So it's just natural proclivity for the woman to want to do that. Oh well, if I he said I got the best head. Pause. I could keep him with this. Like, why is her mentality like that? Because she's thinking like the female. The man is telling her what she want to hear. The male feminist probably telling her what she want to hear because he want the box. Remember, women fall in love with what they hear. So he's love. Correlation of love.
Yeah, that's true.
The woman is showing her body, sex. Ooh, I love that. The guy, love. Basic male, basic female. But when you get into a god or a king level, goddess, queen, y'all want more substance. The woman showing her body online, I'm not even going to entertain it. She already disqualified herself. You see? I'm talking to her. Her Instagram is clean. I'm talking to her after a month or whatever it is, we're about to have sex. She starts showing me pictures, provocative photos. Oh, they're nice. I'm a male. I'm not gay. They're very nice. I'm turned on. But that's not the catalyst of why I'm here. Why? Because I built something with her. But if she approached me that way in the DM, because it's happened, I shame these women. What your father think?
Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so, because it's like, in terms of like, when you're just, it depends on the man too, in the sense that like some of these men nowadays that are simping over women, they'll just, as soon as a woman shows them that they're kind of like easily accessible in terms of like looks and the sex, because in my opinion, I feel like women just have that access to sex, right? But men, we hold our value with our attention. So I think it's something that has to be kind of taught to men, where it's like, if you value your attention, you can't necessarily just give these women all of your attention all the time. And the thing is, like, if you're just giving attention so that you can hit it and then leave, then that's how you're moving, but you're not necessarily building anything. You're not exchanging. There's no value that you're getting from that.
From her.
You're just kind of like shooting like a sniper, and you're doing something there, but it's like you're still feeling empty, I feel like, because it's not, you're not like Discipline said, you're not building anything with them. So then it just becomes a partner that you're, or, someone that you're kind of just
like meaningless.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's watered down.
So let me ask you a question. Since we're talking about modern and traditional, how hard is it to find each? What do you find more, modern or traditional?
Well, I work with women. I work with women. I'm as a nurse, like I'm surrounded. It's all female. Predominantly female environment. So, in terms of finding modern women, it's easier to find. It's easier to find modern women like that. With those type of values, especially because they make their own money. So it's a different ball game when it comes to like, they might have their appearance, but they got their own money, so they have their own perspective. Versus like what you were talking about earlier, about finding the girl that also, is a homebody, works at Starbucks, but doesn't really make that much money. But do I care? No. So it's like, it's not that tough. I think men just have to position themselves correctly in terms of like, what do they want and what type of man do you have to become in order to attract that?
Do you think that money is the biggest problem, separating a modern and a traditional woman that you find?
Money being the biggest problem that differentiates.
Like, that's what's the blockage, or the, you know what I'm saying? Like, the modern woman, she makes her money, like you said. So she has her opinions on certain things. Whereas, the traditional may not be making that money. So do you think that money is, it's, I guess, the root of all evil?
No,
Not the root of all evil, but you know what I'm saying?
I think what Discipline said earlier was on point. It's, it's how were they raised? It's a generational thing. If the woman is brought up in a household,
it's their mindset.
Right, it's the mindset. Because you could have a woman that makes the same amount as money as you, but if she ain't, she's not nurturing, it's all the other stuff. I could care less if a woman makes money. I really could care less. It doesn't, it does not like raise her value to me at all.
Okay.
If anything, sometimes it brings more problems based off of like just the perspective
Because
what
of
they
how
have.
she sees, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I was getting at.
Because
Like,
women
yeah.
date up also,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
you know, so that means. But as a man, what does that mean? I got to level up too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's
Okay, this is my other question because we ask a lot of most all the guys this, and I can't. Hopefully, I
Oh
get it.
yes.
You ask it because
Okay.
I can't ask it, right?
Well, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You ready?
I'm gonna
You
get
ready?
you.
Okay. So, two types of women, and you gotta choose one. You can't say, well, okay. I ask all the men this question, and everybody knows what I'm getting to. One woman, they're both the same age, your age.
And you're attracted to both of them.
Yes. One woman has 50 bodies, no children, right? We're not saying if she's modern or traditional. Another woman has one or two, one child.
One or two bodies, one child.
Yeah. Who are you picking?
Who you gonna go with?
I would go with the woman that has the child, but
Ooh.
she would have to allow me to have responsibility and authority over the child.
First of all, you are the first man ever to sit here and say that. I applaud you.
I think
That's a good one.
I think that's
I
the
like the
only
other
way
answers
that I would
too.
ever date a woman with a child.
Wow.
I
would-
chose that one too.
Yeah.
I chose that
Yeah,
one
you
too.
did.
And
Yeah,
you know
you
what?
did.
I love that he expounded like
Yeah.
that because that is the problem I've thought about. This is one of the reasons why I don't date women with children. Because when there's going to be a situation where you have to say the word because you want to be the man of the house or discipline, it's going to be, well, you don't have kids. How you know how to raise them? Oh, they got their own dad. Wait a minute. So now I'm a stranger?
Mm,
Whoa. That can be the pivotal part of where the relationship's going into shambles now for me.
yeah.
Because now I'm looking at it like, oh, this is how she really views me. That's a problem. This is when it could be the only way where it could clash. You know what I'm saying? I love that he said that. I would pick the woman with the child too, but I'm putting stipulations.
Mm.
Correct.
Because naturally I would choose the woman like we all would want the woman without the child.
Yeah.
But the fact that, and mind you, right? This type of woman with the bodies is one or two things, which is why you are aware of it. You're either aware of it because she told you, listen, I want to be honest with you. This is what I did. I used to be ex-porn star or whatnot. OnlyFans, whatever. Or you just suspect. You suspect it because of how she moves. When you go on her Instagram or her Facebook, she posts like she's a prostitute.
Oh my Lord.
Right.
Her friends, like, so you're not thinking to yourself because she didn't tell you to count. So it's just an imaginary count, right? It could be 30, it could be 80, right? You're just thinking in your mind, wow, she's very flamboyant. She's very
Or
out there.
experienced.
Yes, because a feminine woman is going to be, that's going to make her apprehensive to want to be that confident out there. Like a lot of people could see you, your body. A feminine woman is going to be apprehensive. So in a way, like you're already turned off by her energy, but for some reason you guys are connecting some way.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So for me, I'm choosing the woman with the child only because, well, many reasons why, but the biggest reason is she's already prepared for that because I want to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to that, the woman who has, and I said this in other shows prior, why sometimes men just choose the woman without the kid because the kid is the X factor. And then I break it down on, well, it's like you were saying, Kevin, earlier about the body count and it's not going to be successful. I'll tell you why. The woman with the 50 body count, 50 bodies, she's used to that. She's used to validation. She's used to male energy constantly, right? She's probably had backup plans too, because there's no way it's fathomably possible for a woman to have that much unless she was up in the industry.
Mm.
The biggest thing is she has a problem pair bonding.
I was just about. Yep.
Because if she had that many partners, right, she's not giving her all. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. The feminine woman has little bodies because she's given her all. Imagine going to that job interview. I'll use this analogy. The CEO is sitting at across of the table and he's like, wow, you have all these great accolades on your resume, but why have you been at 15 jobs? You haven't even been at one in the past year. You keep leaving every 3 months. Why? That's all I want to know. Versus the other candidate who's been at 3 jobs and each one was like 10 years. Just the company went through a whole bankruptcy, whatever, sold different CEOs, but they were there for 10 years. You're going to look at the 10 years and be like, wait a minute, they're loyal. They invest time. They do this, they do that because you're growing there. 10 years is a long time. You're growing there. Versus somebody who's not. That means I have a fear because maybe you run away. You see what I'm saying? So a man who's using his brain efficiently is looking at those 50 bodies and like, how did you acquire that much? You see what I'm saying? It's a red flag for him if he's trying to build. Now, if he wants to have fun and she's free because she doesn't have children responsibilities, he just wants to have fun, he's going to go with the 50 bodies. Because that's it. Our dynamic is just fun. That's it. We don't need to communicate. I don't need to know about your day. I don't need to protect you or even provide for you. You know? So that's that. But if the man wants to build, I guarantee you every single one of the men that I asked that will change their answer to what Kevin picked.
You can tell a lot about a man just by the type of woman that he has right next to him. You know, if the woman that he has 50 bodies, you know, what type of man is like, you know, what type of man are you with? You know what I'm saying?
I believe he's settling.
Right. Yeah. And even it's like an analogy, it might not be the best, but it's like a piece of tape. You put a piece of tape on one surface, it's very sticky. You take it off, you put it on a water bottle. It's less sticky, but it sticks. Then you take it off. Let's say you do that 50 times. What's your ability for that tape to be sticky at the end of those 50 times? Yep. So you're going to have a hard time actually valuing relationship and focusing that on a deeper level.
And to get into
a very good analogy.
Yes, that was good.
It was
wasn't even bad. It was good. And to get into the spiritual aspect of it, the woman controls the spiritual realm. So she's actually absorbing more than the man. So that's a lot of perhaps demons that she needs to eradicate. Maybe she hasn't. So you're actually like when you're engaging with her, you're absorbing those energies.
Yeah.
If you look at it in the spiritual way too. You know, so most of the time, these women that acquired that many, they're not pleasant to be around.
They come with other issues.
Yes. Because that is like a sexual dysfunction of why you have so many. That's a problem. It's mentally illness. That's a problem there. So
maybe they're sex addicts.
That's a mental illness.
Yeah.
That's
an addiction.
It's an addiction. Yeah. Yeah. So most men will just simp, like Kevin was saying, based off how the woman looks because of pretty privilege. Just naturally, the man will just think, well, she's beautiful. She's probably used to this. Guys do this. I got to do the same thing to get her. The men who are more conscious and they respect themselves, they have self-worth, they're not going to subject themselves to that. If they approach the woman that they find sexually attractive, visually attractive, they give her a chance to connect. The moment they see her mannerisms, they're out. They don't simp there. Because remember, they have self-worth. They know themselves. So they're going to be like, damn, I really was sexually attracted to her. I really was attracted to her visually. But to know how she thinks,
it's a turn off.
It's a turn off. The other guy who doesn't value himself as much is going to settle. Well, what can I do? Well, guys always buy me stuff. We always go on trips. I get Birkin bags every week. That he's going to subject himself to that. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, those type of women always end up getting with low vibrational guys, scammers, like illegal drug dealers, sex traffickers, whatever, guys, rapists, guys that don't have a soul. Their soul is dark and empty. They haven't found God. They don't have God in them. They always go with those type of women because it's like your guys are equally yoked in that aspect. But if a man has God in him and he's conscious, she's not, because he's vibrating on a high frequency. He's trying to get her there. She's not budging, so he leaves.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? They're not vibrating on the same frequency level.
How long do you vet somebody before you're like, is it like how Discipline said he bombards them with the questions and then he gets to know, like, how long, what is it, what would a woman have to say to for you to be like, no, that's not happening, besides that she has a kid or 50 bodies?
If time's a factor, I think I'll have a woman wait at least 6 months, like, before I'm even taking her serious.
Wow.
But I make it clear that I know that I'm not taking her serious yet. Like,
Oh,
there's
you
time-
tell you,
yeah,
so you're
there's-
honest.
There's always 100% transparency, and I think that that's a flaw of a lot of men nowadays, is that they lack the transparency because they don't
I
value
agree.
themselves, and they want to tell the woman what they think the woman wants to hear. But then you're kind of like putting the woman on a pedestal and putting yourself here. You know, you have to put yourself up here, and if you're being transparent, listen, I'm not ready for this. I want to make sure that you're the right person. I want to make sure that we're the right match together. So it's going to take some time, and there shouldn't be necessarily any pressure in terms of like time. That's why it's like it's not wishy-washy in terms of it's not like an accurate number per se, but
right.
I feel like a man, I don't know if you can expand on this, but I feel like a man knows when it's time to take a woman serious.
Yes.
Versus like, you're just messing around with them.
Yes.
You just know.
So 2 questions. You said serious. The second one, what about sex? How long would you wait for like sex to give her sex? Because I'm a technical beast, right? I believe the masculine gives the feminine sex because we're the penetrators. They have the whole, right? So how long would you wait? Okay, so she has the key to that, right? She has to give you permission and access, but you're the one giving it to her, right? So how long do you wait to give her that?
I don't think it's necessarily like a time frame of weeks, days, minutes time. I think the cues that I'm looking for is she allowing me to lead? Is she allowing me to be in my masculine? And if there's already a sense where I'm getting and some form of gems where it's like, I think there is some value here, then I'm okay with giving sex.
Okay.
Well, would you have one night stands?
Would I have one night stands?
Yeah.
I think,
Sorry for asking that question.
No. It's I think that one night stands are, pretty normalized nowadays in terms of like, especially like people like in 2024,
Right.
a
it's
lot of
just-
people are just having like one night stands, but there comes a point where you kind of have to mature a little bit and kind of leave that aside because you're not really gaining any substance from that.
Okay.
Would you engage in it? Trying to avoid the question.
No.
No.
I was
okay.
like, that's a nice answer, but you didn't say if you would.
Yeah, no.
So for me, now that I look at it like seriousness and sex, I'm not surprised. I was surprised earlier, but I'm not because I always wait a year before
Surprise with what?
Yeah,
With
he
the
said-
6 months?
he said 6
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Long time. Yeah.
Yes, it was like a 2-part.
Yeah.
So for sex, right? I'm waiting at least a month before I give it to her. Month and a half, 2 months. I've done it. I like to build that because I want her to explode. So I like to build it, right?
Oh, Lord,
I like to build the
Charles.
tension.
It's the buildup, really.
Yeah.
It's the chase.
So for me, right, whether I start talking about, because in the beginning I talk about like children and moving in together and stuff, but where I want to take it to the next level is like after a year. That's my milestone for me to know, okay, I'm going to give her a ring. We're going to move in together, stuff of that nature. So through that course of that year, like Kevin said, yes, that's why I agree with you. It's true because I have my own personal test. So the next man and the next man, they have their own subjective test too. I have my own test before I give her a ring.
Don't tell it out loud.
No, I'm not going to tell her the test, the secret. But I have my own test in my mind whether I'm going to give her the ring and take it to that next level. But she has a year to prove herself because we know ourselves as far as self-worth, right? I know that I get the ring. The woman could say all day, I want to marry you, but you ain't going to the jeweler tomorrow. I'm going there because you still want to be treated traditionally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the guy that's going to get on one knee, but, I'll sit next to you and be like, "Hey, you gonna marry me? Yes or no? Yes or no?"
You're not creasing the
You know what I'm
sneakers?
saying? So I'm not putting it in a biscuit and stuff. Like I'm just straightforward. Like I got this ring the other day. I remember your size. You marry me? Yes or no? So for me personally, right?
Romantic.
You know, for me personally, it's all the information that I'm gathering, you know, to know because I'm the one that's like the CEO here. She's the manager. So, yes, she has a prominent position too, but I'm the leader here. It's like general lieutenant,
Mm.
right? She's second in command and she's good with that. We're not both generals, that's never going to work. We're not both CEOs, that's never going to work. Both CEOs can't get each other a ring. That's asinine. One has to be the CEO because the one who isn't the CEO wants to be provided for.
Mm.
So the woman, no matter if she's modern, doing OnlyFans right now, feminist, traditional, they all want eventually to get into their nature and be treated traditionally. It's just that only the traditional women will get that from the traditional men. Now the simps and the idiots are gonna give the ring to the modern chicks, and those guys will end up getting played and on their path to divorce because she's gonna be the one to initiate it. So it's not gonna last anyways. Just like the female with the 50 bodies. Science says that because of that, her neurological aspect, she's not built to like be in a sustainable relationship for too long. So eventually she's gonna get bored, tired, whatnot. We're not doing exciting shit because that's her high. Her high is excitement. That's why she got him. Her high is excitement. So the moment she's that like that housewife, finally, she's gonna be like, damn,
Novelty.
Kevin gives me everything. Kevin gives me everything. Discipline gives me everything. I want to do what these other girls are doing because she's not present in the dynamic. You see, her not being present in the dynamic mentally and emotionally, she's looking at other things trying to bring that in your dynamic. It's on a path to disaster.
Mm. Before we move on to the next bullet, I don't know if we have the next bullet,
We
but
just got two more. left.
what is the this is a quiz for both of you. What is the ultimate test that Sonny tells Caladro in the Bronx Tale? Have you ever watched that movie? Because you're only 29.
Oh, I know the
I
test.
have, but it's been a while.
I know the test.
I don't remember.
Okay, so this is the test. Sonny says the only way you're gonna trust a broad is this. Do this. Open the door for her. Shut it. Walk to the back. If she unlocks your side for you to get in, that's when you know you could trust her. But
a
if she
keeper.
don't do that, yo, I'm a big movie buff.
Me
If
too.
she doesn't do that, dump that broad fast.
Yeah, because
That's
back
what
then
Sonny-
it wasn't a bleep bleep bleep. She
Yeah.
had to actually reach over and
Yes. So he said that
he's
to
the
him.
original tester.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would work today.
No, definitely not today. She'd be like, bleep.
But every man has their own test to know, wow, she could be wifey, or wow, she's really loyal, or wow, I could really invest in her. Because that's what it is. It's us men investing in you women, you ladies. That's what it is. We're investing. And when we invest, we're thinking of forever. Even if he cheated, even if he connected with another woman, the man hates to lose time. They say women hate to lose time. The man hates to lose time. So a woman might say, oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care because you're projecting. He doesn't care how you want him to care, but he does because his actions show it.
That's true. Who teaches you guys like the test? Like who tells you, listen, was it your dad? Like was it your dad that told you, your grandpa that told you, listen, there's a test. You formulate it however you want it, but you should test her. Like how do you guys, is it your fathers that teach you guys?
I think that there's layers to it, but for the most part, a lot of the teachings is like, yeah, it comes from my father, it comes from my grandfather, it comes from my uncle as well. You know, you're ready to put a ring on it once it's like, you know, the woman is also kind of like, for us, like my mom kind of like became a part of my dad's family. And so like when they didn't like have this whole year where, you know, my dad's vetting my mom or anything like that. It was like, are we going to get married? Yeah, okay. let's tell the family we're getting married. They already had bought furniture and everything for the house before they even got married.
Oh, wow.
Because if they were going to do it, they were going to do it.
Right.
You know, so it was like that. So it comes with being a man that's like decisive in terms of like what you want.
That's nice.
Nowadays, it takes time to do that.
Mm.
So where it can be a year, it can be 6 months. It's just a matter of you kind of having your own cues in terms of like understanding what is all the bullshit you have to vet through to get the right value.
Nice.
Yeah, so my grandfather and father taught me the different women out there, right? But I had to experience it. So that's what I wrote down. Like a man has to experience it as well. So he could see, smell, absorb what it is to be a man, but he has to actually also go through these adversities, the ups and downs and stuff of that nature to come out of it as a man, because that's what's going to build a man. So the way I test is based off my experiences. It's not like, yes, my parents, well, my grandparents and my father taught me about the different women out there, but I had to experience them too. You know what I'm saying? To see if it was true. Because like when I'm younger, I'm just thinking, you're old school. You don't know what the style is. Like, yeah. You're just guessing your grandparents to death or your parents. You don't believe it as much. You got to see it for yourself to now believe it. You know, so I didn't just listen. I was a rebel. I didn't just listen right away. I had to experience it. You know, and that's what you have to go through too. Sometimes you keep telling the child, don't touch the light, don't touch the light. It's gonna hot, it's gonna get hot, you're gonna burn yourself. And they keep going, okay, let him experience it so he can know that I mean business. And I'm not lying. So it was the experiences. To be honest, I never dated hoes. Like women with these body counts and stuff like that that act crazy. Because it also goes down to what you saw. My aunt,
growing up,
my aunts, my grandmothers, my mother, they never dressed like that. Like my mother till this day is always in a skirt. Very rare she'll wear like yoga pants or something. So they even dress traditionally. So as you could see, right, like we were talking about the last show, what you see, what you absorb with your eyes, it plays into your frontal lobe and it's stored there. You know, so now you're like, oh, this is how the world is. Like I was oblivious to women, like modern women. I was oblivious to them.
Because you didn't have that in your house.
Yes, men that aren't dominant today or leaders, I was oblivious to that because where I came from, I had a toolbox at 10 years old. I knew how to fix a door. I told you, Kevin, off camera, my grandfather told me how to tie a tie at 11. Now I'm a master at knots. So I thought this was the epitome of a man or men. I saw my uncle lifting weights. I was like 12 years old, like, oh, I want to do this. So you're actually seeing it, you know, but it also comes down to like ethnicity too, region, where you are, parts of the world. So if you're a modern man in America, you're fucked. Most likely you were raised by a single parental figure, the mom. You don't really know how it is to be a man. You know, so I got to actually see what it is to be a man and a woman. And I saw that in the domestic environment prior to going out. So when I search for my women or girlfriends or whatever, or subs, I saw those characteristics, those same characteristics in my grandmother, my mom, my aunts, how they were dressing. If they were doing the opposite, I walked away because my brain wasn't familiar. It put my nervous system up. You see what I'm saying? I'm not in my...
There's no girls' night out.
Yeah.
You never saw your aunt or your mother getting dressed up for a girls' night out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Because everybody would hang out in one house.
Right. That's it. You know?
Everybody go to Tia's house.
Yeah. If it was a situation with my mom, it was like, oh, your girls, you having a girls' night out? Oh, they coming over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo.
It's different.
It's cool bringing another traditional man on. It's great.
Great. Yes, very, very great. Let me ask you now. You guys have the similarity of the traditional. You guys both believe in that. Um, discipline also though is polyamorous. Do you believe in that? Like, are you? What is your take on it? Like, what do you think about that?
I've never even been exposed to the idea or the thought process of it. Like I guess I haven't explored it. No, I don't know. Um, I've kind of just been exposed to a nuclear family household,
Just
where
monogamous, one and
yeah,
one.
where the man is the head of the household, has one wife, and they kind of build together. I haven't really been exposed to.
Do you
Yeah.
think that for yourself that you can be like polyamorous,
It's it's
like
tough.
he explains it in a very, everybody I think that isn't familiar with his lifestyle, and me included. When I first met him, I was like, what is that? We have these certain preconceived notions about it,
Mhm.
but when he explains, when he
Yeah.
explains it, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that.
So earlier you said indirectly your grandfather was doing that. You're like, maybe I have some cousins.
Yeah.
So he was practicing polyamory. Or maybe polyamorous, because polyamorous is like building relationships, multiple. Polyamory is just like, oh, he's just cheating once in a while. And you know what I'm saying? So like men by nature kind of have this they have this proclivity. You might meet a man in the past that was like, oh, I was a player, but now I'm monogamous. Still, he has that proclivity, you see? It's not common for a woman to be like, oh yeah, I was a player or a playette, and now I'm monogamous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Playette.
She's out of her nature.
So how do you balance the being territorial perspective on that, but also balancing multiple relationships?
Um, they're submissive and strictly. Like I don't deal with a feminist dominant woman who does what she wants, and then a submissive woman. It's not gonna work. I'll probably keep the submissive woman around, but eventually we're gonna bump heads. She's gonna walk away, or I'm gonna stop. You see, because that just means that if I can't have them similar, that means my rules are not similar. That means I'm not the same. I flip flop. Like, why would you feel comfortable talking to him? We boys. You know he don't like me. And he feel
Mm.
comfortable talking to you. And he knows you and I are boys. You flip flopper. How can I trust you?
Mm.
It's the same thing. So for me, I find women who are like similar in that regard. Like I don't switch up. Some guys will because they're using poly as a catalyst to cheat. They're using poly as a catalyst to do that. I don't do that. I build relationships. All I'm doing is being honest with myself and diving into my nature. Yeah, I could be monogamous for a year, but I'm still poly. So I go once a week to the grocery store and I flirt with the cashier at Walmart. Isn't that still poly? Cause me, I believe cheating is flirting. Or flirting is cheating. There's so many different aspects to cheating,
Layers, yeah.
subjective. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I'm building relationships. Some men are practicing polyamory and they're unaware of it. Like they cheat every week, once in a while, and whatnot. They're not building relationships. So if I'm polyamorous, I build relationships. So yes, I could engage with the OnlyFans for just sex. It's fake. Because how come I have a real relationship over here, but I'm just engaging with her in sex and that's it? That means I'm flip floppy.
Mm.
Like that has to be a relationship too. You know what I'm saying? So my situations, I ran into situations where women were in agreement to that. They met, they knew about each other, and then I met women that didn't know about each other, but they knew I had somebody else. Because at the end of the day, also getting into this is boundaries. So if you meet a woman that you're connecting with and she's like, well, I don't really want to do that, but I want to have us, I want to still mess with you. So you're putting the ball in her court. Hey, you could leave whenever you want. And she's like, no, I don't want to leave, but I just don't want this. You got to respect that because that's her saying that, this is going to make me uncomfortable. So now at that moment, like you're still building relationships with them both, just separately.
Do you think you would Do you think all men can do that? Like, do you think all men can be polyamorous, or do you think that there are men that they're just one-on-one?
No, I don't think every man can do that.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah,
I think it
it's
takes
hard.
a certain type of man to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Even looking back at it, it's like kings had multiple wives, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but
in the
they were
Bible.
right, and they were kings.
Mm.
There's a certain level of status, there's a certain level of man that you have to be to kind of carry that
Mhm.
torch.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for men that want to be in that role that they have to build themselves up
Mm.
in order to get to that.
Yeah, because if you're building a relationship, like as a man, you got to be able to provide equally. 2, 3, whatever, 4. The woman is not the provider by nature. So if the woman is doing it, she's gonna be. It's gonna overwhelm her. Like, oh man, I forgot to text this guy today, and well, we gotta go out on Tuesday. But it's too much for her. The woman is just naturally used to putting her all or giving her all to a man or in the relationship. So it's gonna be hard for her to multitask. I got a scenario. A gorgeous woman meets two types of guys. One guy is nice, gentleman, looks like a potentially great financial provider, well groomed, clean shaven, dressed in a suit, smiles all the time. And then you got the other guy who wears like a V-neck, t-shirt, jeans, sneakers, maybe tattoos. Maybe he doesn't have tattoos, rough around the edges, dark, mysterious. Could look like a great provider, doesn't smile as often. Does she treat both guys the same? And is she the prize in both of these guys' eyes?
Ooh, that's good. I got my answer.
You got your answer? No, I don't think they treat that she'll treat them the same, because one's by definition a provider,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the other one's not. So I think that's really what the value is based off of, especially on the perspective of the woman.
Is she still the prize in both these guys' eyes?
Is she still the prize?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay.
think I'm stumped on this one.
Okay.
What do you think?
So
I don't think that she treats them both the same. I think the guy, the mysterious one, probably makes her nervous, and so and the fact that he doesn't smile will probably make her stand more attention. Like, all right, what is he up to? The other guy, because he is so nice and smiley, it's more like, oh, he's a nice guy. And I think that what was the second part? Is she the prize? She's the prize to the nice guy, but she's not the prize to the serious one.
yeah.
That's what I think.
So as far as her being the prize in both those guys' eyes, she's not the prize for the guy who's more serious.
Yeah.
V-neck, t-shirt, whatever, rough around the edges, mysterious. She's the prize for the other guy. Now, I don't believe she treats them the same because this comes down to testosterone. The woman naturally, the nice guy naturally repels the woman.
That's true.
Why'd you laugh?
Because it naturally repels her, and it's true.
Yeah,
But the way
she
you said
naturally
it,
repels the no, my bad. The nice guy naturally repels the woman.
yeah,
So the woman, no matter if she doesn't have trauma, has trauma, she always wants a man to take charge, who's independent, who goes against the grain, who's like that bad boy aura. He might not even be a bad boy, and that's subjective on your definition of what that is. But that aura, because that is correlates with high levels of testosterone. There's a reason why there's a concept of why good girls like bad boys. Because it's testosterone, not really what they do. So the guy who is the V-neck, whatever, rough around the edges, he looks like he's fighting against rules. And for some reason, for the woman, even if that's dangerous, the woman has the proclivity to be attracted to him more. Because fear and desire, there's a thin line.
it's exciting.
Yes, it's exciting. So, that's why she won't treat them the same. And that guy who is serious, he moves at the beat of his own drum. He's more dominant. So he's going to think he's the prize. He's going to put himself up and be like, well, any woman that gets into my life, I'm elevating that. The other guy who's the nice guy, not so much. He's coming in right off the bat. Oh, it's our first date. Want me to cash app you?
Simping.
Simping. Yes. So the hoes keep winning because of the males. So women could say, oh, yeah, well, she got a ring, blah, 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 blah. There might be an expiration date on that, like milk. But, they're winning. Why? Why? Because of these most males. I think like we can all say they're enabling. They feel like that's going to be a trophy wife, the best looking, simp. They're loyal to their emotions. The woman is loyal to their emotions. So now when you get a man who's loyal to his emotions, he's in like the beta category. He's like feminine because it's not common. Men operate on logic. So if the man is just looking at external attributes and saying that is the catalyst to wifing her, he is operating on emotions. And that's dangerous. That's why these hoes are winning.
Most men are putting them on pedestals too. So it's
Yeah. So final thoughts. And you could say anything. Did you like the show? Did you have a problem with what I say? No, you don't have a problem with what I say.
I love the show.
Who's
I
your
love the
favorite
show.
host?
Any
guys are
final
awesome.
thoughts?
Final thoughts. I just think, it's important to have conversations like this. And I think that for men and women, because it's important to know both perspectives, especially nowadays where there's so many factors in navigating relationships and communication and different values. And it's just important to have these kind of, tough conversations sometimes, but
No,
it's good that there's a platform that you guys share, and it's awesome. And I'm happy to be here, and
me too.
I'm very grateful.
Appreciate
I
it.
have one question and then my final thoughts. Most of your boys, are they like you? Like, are they more traditional or are they more modern? Do you have a mixture of them?
I have a mixture. I
Mixture?
definitely have a mixture. I would say that the men that I kind of train martial arts with, those carry more traditional values. They're very comfortable in their masculinity, and
Yeah.
so those men that train MMA, the ones that that I do practice Brazilian
Jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu with, that kind of stuff, those are definitely more, in terms of traditional.
Nice.
Yeah. So me, normally, like, I find dudes that, like, mirror me and my ideologies. And if not, I wouldn't say convert them, but I definitely, like, talk to them about certain things. Like, even if, like, we go to the club or something like that, like, the way I am on camera is how I am off camera. So I won't say that I'm anti-feminist and then go out and just be like, oh yeah, I'm this. I see a woman that's dressed provocatively in the club, I'm not walking up to her. Like, I carry these values even off camera. So I'll tell my boys why and whatnot. And most of the time, like, I convert them without trying. So I try to find like-minded people in my circle. And if they're not, I'm out. Or they're out. Sometimes God removes them out of your life. You don't got to do nothing.
Yep, that's true.
So for me, like, it helps that way, because if you think about it, like, even like women, like, why are you married and all your friends you hang out with are single? That's hard. And y'all always going out on ladies' night and stuff like that. That's hard. Eventually, they're going to get you to do some whole shit.
It's a recipe for
Violate
disaster.
your, you know what I'm saying? Violate. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't trust.
in a way, it's like, see, most women would say that. You ain't got trust. You ain't got trust. Energy is infectious.
Yes, and you know me, I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
But still, there has to be a little bit of trust.
See, she shouldn't be going out anyways. See, that's the thing.
Good point. No, babe, that's how you
That's
shut
the
it
thing.
down.
Why
right
can't
there.
Why can't they come over?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To the house.
Yeah, definitely.
Why y'all gotta go to the club? Why
That's
y'all gotta
way
take?
more fun.
What the hell is a woman's
Hanging
trip
out.
only?
I don't know.
What?
I've
A
never
husband
done
staying at home and a woman's trip? That doesn't make sense to me. What is that?
that. Mm-mm.
I've never heard that in my era. So for dudes to allow this, there's some mental dysfunction there.
But maybe you don't think the guy's like, all right, go on your woman's trip.
So he could do his
I'm gonna
thing?
have fun over here.
Maybe they have an open relationship.
But
Okay.
then I like to ask the women, does your mother do that?
This man be coming with some
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, the mom, they'll be like, no.
I don't. Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
why? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Do you have any sisters?
No sisters, 3 boys.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes.
So wait, my final thoughts is I'm so happy that you came on the show. We finally got you on the show.
Have it
Now we're
here.
gonna be talking about at work, and baby's gonna be like, what? You gotta go on the Discipline Theory podcast to watch him. You see,
Yeah.
you gotta plug it in,
We're
Kev. You gotta
touch-
plug it in
We're touching many people.
in the hospitals, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
No, that's it. I thought you had great answers. I loved it.
Thank you guys.
I'm glad that you got to come to the show. Happy to have you on. We don't have any disagreements. We kind of think similar. Even though we live different lifestyles. I've been telling Suhey this on the show all the time. And so
Yeah.
it's so
I
great
get to
that you
witness
come
it, yeah.
here and you could actually corroborate what I say
Yeah.
without actually saying what I say. You know what I'm saying? But I really appreciate it. It's very important that we have these type of conversations worldwide, because as we transition into a more of a modern era, it's starting to reach other regions in the world, which is like detrimental. People make up the world, so when you don't have great male role models, like look what they're trying to do with the heroes. They're eradicating them. We don't get a lot of masculine heroes anymore, right? When we don't have this, because this is the backbone to the world. Men built the world, the tangible things. Men. When we don't have this guidance of men leadership, it's lost. So if men can get in these leadership roles and know themselves, women will have no choice but to adjust too. It's just that the blind is leading the blind right now.
Yep.
So if a lot of women are saying, well, there's no masculine guys, dominant guys, men that lead or whatever, there are. It's just the ones that you're choosing aren't. And you subconsciously know. There's a reason why you picked them. There's something within you that you don't respect. That's why you settle for that. Versus staying single, going somewhere else, choosing different avenues where you're going to meet these guys. Same
Working
thing
on
with a
yourself.
man. It's asinine for me to hear a man say, well, all women are hoes today. What? You are mentally ill, guy. All women are hoes today? There's different types of women. You are the same as a female if you think like that. Same as a female. No, there's traditional women out there. There's submissive women out there. You just need to have better discernment skills. There's something within you that you're settling for quick. You're trying to get the easy chicks. And when they play you, that's when you're like, well, there ain't no good girls out there. That's your karma for God. You see what I'm saying? Because guys like me never said that. We have season 1 to 15. You never heard me say that once. Because I don't deal with those type of women. But I could see them. I see them there. Stay over there. Stay over there. I see you. So I know you exist. But they're not within my close proximity. You got to be something of value to get access to this. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what it comes down to. Self-awareness. We need to go back to that. We are self-aware. We find God. And you don't need to be religious. God is in you. And you're going to realize you have powers. I'm going to always say this every episode to end it, to drill it in people's head. You're going to realize you have powers. Gender roles is implemented by the ancestors and God. So when you're following gender roles and you're comfortable with it, male and female nature and double standards, this is when you're healed. This is when you know yourself and you adhere to these rules, because the man holds himself accountable by gender roles. Yeah, he adheres to those rules. We could say, oh, men just hold women accountable. They don't hold themselves. Yeah, they do. When he wants to come in and provide and protect, he's holding himself accountable. He's following rules, principles. That's his rules. Women are going to follow too. You got to get on that. So women's mindsets, their actions are, being pushed out a certain way or portrayed is because men are building that. Modern women are the byproduct of modern men. That's all it is. So it's like no woman could come into my life and just start dictating and running shit. I don't even need to tell a woman, you're going to come in here and this, and you're going to be submissive. No. The way I approach the situation, she's going to be able to put a pin on me to be like, oh, wow, okay, this guy's a leader. this guy's a dominant. I didn't need to tell him what it. I told him, when are you off this week? We're doing this. She's automatically gonna, okay, great. He's a planner. She's not gonna have to ask for that, and I'm not gonna have to enter that dynamic and say, well, I need you to be this way. Well, listen, I got these certain boundaries. That's it. Those boundaries could be rules. You either gonna follow them or not. The door is over there. Ain't nobody putting a gun to your head. Most likely she gonna stick around because she gonna realize that this guy's not a simp. He's serious business. And if he's serious business and I like him, I'm gonna be a serious woman. I'm not gonna be goofy. It starts with the man. That's what my father always used to tell me.
Starts with the man. Smart
Yeah.
man.
All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, passionate, no holds barred podcast, the This Been Debbie podcast. Peace.